Okay, so this is just a video to talk about the human body and how it works, basically. So the body is an amazing thing. So the way I like to picture it is a chain. So if you imagine like a metal chain with all these links intertwined, okay, all the way down. So from the head to the toe, this is the chain, okay? So our feet are at the bottom, the head's up here. We can even draw a smiley face if we want, okay? But what happens is, no matter where, so this is our shoulders, this is our hips, our knees, even our back here. No matter where you have an injury, okay, would you agree that if no matter where we had a weakness in this chain, the whole chain would be affected, the whole link? And this is how the human body works. So let's say, for example, you hurt your hip here once upon a time, and what you do is you limp, you limp, you limp, you limp, and you keep limping, and this side starts moving a little bit more. It gets a lot stronger, it gets a little bit tighter because you're doing more work on it to avoid this side. But you keep limping until the pain goes. Okay, now the pain's gone. But we're still left with now this really overworked, overused side. And what happens is, like, that has an impact on that whole side. So even though you had a problem on this side once, because of maybe an issue on this side with your back, now that you've limped awkwardly and protected yourself, the problem's gone. And what you'll find is you would have used this left side a little bit more to compensate. And then years and years of using it, it's got really tight. But then because you haven't trained in ages, like, we haven't really exposed it. And all that training does is expose an issue that's always been there. That's all. It doesn't mean that you have a problem with that side or you're not flexible. It's just that problem's always been there. And then you've started on your fitness journey and you have an issue there now, like a tightness. But what if we're not aware of it? What can happen is that issue could get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger before it becomes like an issue with anything with our knee. But what's even more amazing about this is that even though there was once a problem there which is gone, that problem moved to the other side, but the body works cross-sectionally. So now that injured hip could have an influence on the opposite shoulder. Okay, so you usually find that that if you've got something on your left side, the right side will have a problem. Okay, so we then risk exposing an issue here, and then it can then have, because you start moving awkwardly, protecting this side. Before you know it, you have an issue this side, which could then have a problem back down this side. Can you see what I mean? So before we know it, we've gone a full 360 because of one problem this side, which led to that side, and the body just works cross-sectionally. It's crazy. But the great thing is, this is why stretching and movement and mobility are really good, because they make you aware of issues so you can address them and work with them. And it's just because you feel stiffer on one side than the other, it doesn't mean that that's a problem. It means that we flagged it and we can work around it before it becomes a problem. And like, the body is an amazing thing, and this is why I'll never chase pain, really. So if you've got a tightness on one side, I'll never just say let's work that side, because the body works as a whole, like your health and fitness journey. If we just smash training and don't address the diet, you're not going to get a result. If we just address the diet and don't look at training, we're not going to get a result. But if we work on the body as a whole, we're going to get a result. And it's the same with your stretching. If we balance out flexibility on both sides, the law of averages will always win. But at the same time, if we do a lot more sitting down and less moving than we do with flexibility, and you've spent years and years and years and years like doing that, don't expect to undo it in 4, 8, 12 weeks. It's going to take a long time. Like, I've been a PT for 10 years and it's taken me a long time to get where I am now, and I'm a long way from where I want to be. And this is the great thing about exercise. It's a holistic way of thinking. It's not about us just giving you one big stretch and sorting it out. It's about the body working as a whole, and eventually, if I can get rid of it, getting rid of these little kinks in these chains or improving them, so the full strength of the body is where it needs to be. Okay, so we end up with this stronger chain from head to toe. And what we're doing, each little exercise that we give you, we're improving this chain. Okay, So don't chase pain. Get curious about why you're stiffer on one side, because it always makes sense. And the body is amazing. So just appreciate that.